This biker lost his life on the side of the road after getting hit by lightning. When the ambulance showed up, their equipment failed and left them unable to help the man. A mysterious woman dressed in a black dress showed up, chanted over the man's body, slammed a Bible on the ground, and walked away. The man then came back to life. You can do your part to help spread awareness for this case by clicking the share button beneath this video. You can even leave a simple comment below so that YouTube can give the case a bit more exposure on their end as well. And while you're down there, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe so you won't miss any of the other cases I'll be covering in the coming weeks. Acton, Indiana is a very small community in Indianapolis with a population of just under 6,000 people. To say that nothing interesting ever happens here would be an overstatement. Most people don't even know that this small town exists. But something incredibly strange would take place in the community of Acton that none of the residents would ever forget. Keep in mind, everything you're about to hear is allegedly true, but this is certainly one of the most unbelievable unsolved cases I've ever heard. This strange and unexplained cold case began to unfold in June of 1980, when Robert Davidson was traveling down I-74 in Acton, Indiana. It was a cold and rainy night as a storm was tearing through the area. As Robert was traveling through this terrifying storm, he realized that it was far too dangerous for him to keep driving. So he pulled over and waited for the storm to stop. No sooner than he pulled over, he was struck by lightning on the side of the road. It's reported that more than 200,000 volts of electricity jolted through his body, sending his shoes flying into the distance and ending his life immediately. A crowd quickly surrounded the man, as several people had witnessed the lightning bolt. A witness called the local police for help, and an ambulance was dispatched immediately. 3 paramedics arrived: Randy Nybert, Kim Cobb, and Mary Lou Schaefer. They forced their way through the crowd and finally arrived at Robert's side. They did everything they could to bring him back to life, but he had already been gone for several minutes by the time they had arrived, and he had no heartbeat. Kimberly Cobb spoke with a journalist with Unsolved Mysteries and reported that Robert had no pulse and showed no signs of life. By all means, this strange case was open and shut. But then something unexplainable happened that has led to this unexplained situation becoming one of the strangest unsolved cold cases in Indiana history. All of a sudden, the paramedics' vehicles shut off and all of the electrical systems were completely shut down. Even their backup battery wasn't working. At the same time, several of the witnesses who were nearby said that the air began to immediately feel colder, even though it was a June evening. Out of the crowd, a woman appeared out of nowhere and began to shout, "I must touch him, let me touch him." The woman had black hair and was wearing a simple black dress, black shoes, and had a silver cross necklace. She also had a Bible in her hand. She ran towards the paramedics and insisted that she needed to touch the victim, claiming that she could save his life. The paramedics knew that they had nothing else to do and nothing to lose, so they backed away and let the woman see it. The woman kneeled beside Robert and placed her hand on his chest. She then began to recite a passage from the 23rd Psalm while striking her Bible on the ground. She then held the Bible toward the sky and spoke in a language that no one understood. According to Randy, one of the paramedics, he noticed something that chilled him to the bone. As the woman stood in the rain, her clothing and body refused to become wet. She was completely dry. After she recited her phrase, she then stood, turned to Randy and grinned, then walked away and vanished. After she walked away, the power returned to the ambulance, and even more strange, Robert returned to life and had a heartbeat once again. What's particularly interesting is that 2 other paramedics who were at the scene that day claimed that they never saw the woman in black appear. However, they did acknowledge that every other aspect of the story is completely true. Though even if you take the woman in black out of the equation, this is still an extremely weird unsolved cold case. Once their ambulance had power again, Robert was rushed to the hospital, where doctors said that he was stable, but he was in a coma, and that he may never fully recover. Though, to their amazement, Robert woke up about 2 months later and was asking how he had ended up in the hospital. It seemed he had no memory of that night, but before long, he was walking, talking, and was ready to move on with his life. No one was ever able to figure out who this mysterious lady in black was, but countless theories have been put forward. Some believe that she may have come from a nearby Methodist Christian camp that was a few miles away. Others claim that she was an angel sent from heaven, but other, more believable stories claim that she could have been from a Native American tribe that was located not too far away. It's believed that when she spoke in an unknown language, she could have been speaking a sacred Native American tongue. Though, correct me if I'm wrong, but true Native Americans don't often follow the Christian Bible, so this still doesn't completely make sense. In reality, we can jump down every rabbit hole imaginable, but it still won't be likely to explain who this woman was or why she did the strange things she did. It also won't explain how Robert managed to come back to life after having no heartbeat for what must have been 15 to 20 minutes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but for the time being, this decades-old cold case still remains unsolved. But that's the video for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. If you loved it, maybe consider sharing, subscribing, or clicking that blue join button below to really show your support for the channel. But my name is Ty Knox. You guys have been lovely, and I'll catch you in the next video.